How's it going, Ram fans? It is my pleasure to finally welcome you back to CTV Sports. I'm Mike Walsh.
And I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we got on tap for you tonight.
Rams basketball was not the only program that was busy and successful this past weekend,
as track, swim, and tennis continue to find their footing even early in the year.
Plus a recap of championship weekend and our thoughts on a mini mock draft.
All of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now.
To start off the show, I think it's clear where we have to begin. The Colorado State men's basketball team has completely turned their season around since the last time we saw you here on Tuesday Night Sports.
That's right, Mike. Climbing up to the third spot in conference rankings with a 7-2 record. The Rams are sitting behind the Lobos of New Mexico and the Broncos of Boise State.
And while they may sit behind the Broncos, this CSU team proved just last week that they can beat these top teams with a crucial win over Boise State right here at Moby. And to start off the game, it was transfer center Nikola Japa with the start and two early buckets for 4 points right out of the gates. And then it was the usual suspect, Nick Clifford, going one-on-one off the glass for an easy 2 before we transition straight into the first 3 of the game from big man Kyle Jorgensen with the pump, the fake, and the swoosh. And then moving along, we go back to Nick Clifford with a huge 3 to extend this lead. The lead got up to 17 points in this first half. But then we had the final bucket of the second half from Jalen Lake before we go to the second half that started out with an absolute bang from Nick Clifford with this slam over the entire Boise State Broncos defense. Just all the emotion shown there. And after that, it was a plethora of players. Starting first with Keyshawn Williams with this nice one off the glass before going straight into a Kyan Evans deep 3 that extended the lead for the Rams to 6 for the moment. But Boise came back, and here was the final play of the game. It's Nick Clifford driving, going off the glass. He misses. Jalen Crocker with the offensive rebound out to Lake, and Lake for the win. Boise State goes down. They take a shot to no avail, and the Rams sneak out a win over the number 2 team in conference. Just a crazy game. And with that game winner and a crazy celebration from the entire Rams team, the star of the night had this to say.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Brock for that big offensive rebound, and then just him being able to find me, and I'm just able to step up and knock it down. Honestly, I mean, after that, I was just kind of blacked out. I was kind of worried about getting back on defense and making sure they didn't get one up, but yeah.
So the team looked good and felt good on Wednesday, but Leah, how did they show up on the stat sheet?
Well, let's take a look, Mike. I mean, as you talked about, Nick Clifford.
It's an animal.
20 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. It's pretty much every single night.
He does it all. He's getting guys like Jalen Lake and Kyan Evans involved, although Kyan Evans with 6 assists, and all 6 of those were huge.
And you know what? They've been talking a lot about Kyan Evans again, replacing a guy like Isaiah Stevens. And he's
impossible
been doing
to do, but he's been doing pretty well.
He's been doing amazing. Obviously, 6 assists in a game like this was crucial, and, you know, we didn't really expect for it to come down to the wire like that.
I think a lot of Ram fans didn't think the Rams had this game in them.
Not at all.
I mean, they've just been on fire recently, so this is a huge win over Boise.
Yeah, I think just with big leads, with great teams, they can't keep their foot off of the gas and things like that.
Keep it on
and finish strong.
Keep the gas. Keep the gas pedal down.
Yes, there we go. We got it.
Keep it moving. I mean, they can make some serious noise in the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. And, you know, so with the well-rounded win for the Rams this past Wednesday over one of the top Mountain West teams that we said, that wasn't the only game that the men's team played this week.
No, right you are, Leah. Nico Medved and company made a quick trip to Fresno State for a dance with the Bulldogs, and this one was also a close one, even though most Ram fans probably thought it should have been more of a domination. Let's take a look at the numbers for this one. Another one that kind of just you didn't expect from a team like Fresno with 4 wins on the year.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things like we came out so hot against Boise, so this one, like you said, was definitely shocking. I mean, we won the rebound game, killed them in assists, but again, that field goal percentage was kind of right there.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I think the Rams just squeaked this one out, and this one was close all game, unlike the Boise one where they had the big lead and lost it. This one was just close all game, and then Nick Clifford, of course, another huge game, almost another triple-double. I mean, he has to be in consideration for Mountain West Player of the Year.
I hope so.
You got to start the campaign now.
Like now, right now.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. With another huge night from Nick Clifford, it has me wondering, but I think we'll see it eventually. you can't doubt this guy.
No, and I mean, 24 points again. He's been doing absolutely amazing.
Yep.
So I agree with you, but that is more than enough talk about the men and their recent success, because they weren't the only team winning this past week, as CSU women's basketball took a trip up north for a very important conference rivalry test against the Pokes. And well, the Rams were able to enjoy their drive back down I-25 with a 61-56 win. And it was no surprise that each quarter remained neck and neck, and the dominance came from the Ronziek sisters, who each broke double digits, with Emma joining the 2,000-point club, a huge accomplishment. And Hannah Semental also contributed heavy with 15 points. The real challenge, though, was getting past the Cowgirls vet Allison Ferdig, who gave the Pokes 34 points. However, Ferdig was on her own, with the only one teammate joining in double digits, and the next closest scored was 5. And so the Ram held on to a 3-point lead with just a minute left after not have scored in 4 minutes. Jaden Five hit that clutch 3 there that really finalized the night.
I mean, this was just a great game. I mean, Allison Fertig is an animal, though. But with close games like these, it all comes down to the little things. Wyoming struggled to make free throws as well as control the ball, allowing the Rams to score 17 points off turnovers. However, the Pokes did dominate in the paint, but the green and gold won the 3-point battle.
And you know, Mike, it is that time of year where standings matter more than ever. So here is where the Rams are at, and I am pleasant to say that they're still top. There's, I mean, number 2 right now in conference, 6-2. UNLV is just, again, the team that's going to be. And
I mean, it looks like they're shooting for a top 3 seed here. I don't think Wyoming catches them, especially with that head-to-head loss they just got.
Agree.
And then Boise State and Fresno State sitting at 4-4. CSU should be pretty much guaranteed a top 3 seed.
I agree, Mike. And, you know, they always make it deep into the tournament, and so I hope that this year is the year that they can take it.
Just finally, just break through.
I know.
We're always there. We're always participating.
We're always there watching. Even without Hofschild, I think the Ronziek sisters are going to take it for them. But, you know, with all of that, like we said, what do you think they need to do to be able to make it that far?
I think you got to continue to feed Emma. I mean, they run their game through. I know Ryan Williams doesn't like to say that they run through one player, but they really do. Because she just is the best scorer on this team. She's the best facilitator on this team. I think you have to just go through Emma.
Yep, I agree with you, Mike. And you know, well, that is all the basketball talk that we have for tonight. So, Mike, tell us about track.
I will. Track had quite the weekend down in the Springs as they continue their indoor season, with the spotlight of the weekend shining down on the jumpers. Starting, of course, with a frequent name here on CTV, Joanna Pinnock. Pinnock had already held the record for CSU in the women's triple jump, but she decided to break it again with an awesome jump of 42 feet, 3.25 inches. And as her name is further cemented in the record books, some other jumpers also had to make some noise in this meet. And the noise they made was quite loud, with 3 of the Rams high jumpers attaining that gold medal position. In women's, it was Tatum Bailey who took home top honors for the Rams at a height of 5 foot, 9.25 inches. And for the men, it was a tie between Reese Travis and Timothy Johnson, who jumped an incredible 6 feet, 9.25 inches. In all reality, I could continue naming some Rams that took home the win this weekend, like Kaylin Heath, who dominated in her first race for the Rams, winning the 60-meter dash, or Ismail Dembele, winning the triple jump for the men and continuing to climb the record books for the green and gold. But this team just wins so much, I think I could talk forever about their wins. But I shouldn't. So, Leah, what other Rams programs had action this weekend?
Well, Mike, Colorado State tennis swung into opening weekend with 2 tests for the new year. The Rams welcomed the University of Montana on Friday here in Fort Collins and then traveled to Boulder on Sunday. The season home opener for the Rams against the Grizzlies came with excitement and energy, as the spring is much different than the fall, with more team matches rather than individual. All the Rams wins came in straight sets, coming away with the 5-2 victory over Montana. And with a few new members, this is what head coach Miley Tran had to say. What I told them was this was discovering and seeing where their levels are. We had 3 players we haven't seen compete in the spring, so seeing how they compete in the team format was important. These girls are hardworking and care about each other. They want the others to do well, and it's so fun to see them for something bigger than themselves. The Rams dropped the doubles point of Victoria Jarjanskaya, Victoria Rektinchenko, Maria Dobrova, Logan Vokes, and a forfeit from Diana Lizarzo due to a Montana injury all contributed to that win. And with only a day of rest, the Rams quickly turned around and spent the day in Boulder on Sunday. And unfortunately, this time it did not go their way, falling to the Buffs 6-1, with the lone win coming from freshman Maria Dobrova. These sets were close, and Dobrova was even trailing 4-1 before winning the final 5 games. And this turnaround was due to a recent discovery. Dover told CSU Athletics that, "You don't know what's happening in my head. I'm Eastern European. A lot of bad things said toward myself. I kid you not, a week and a half ago, I was flipped how I was thinking. We had a session with a psychologist and he said something that stuck with me. It was committing to the ball. That's legit what I did. I turned those thoughts around to be positive. Commitment. When I get on the baseline, whatever it is in your head, the first thing, stick with it. If you start thinking, you start doubting yourself. That's helped me committing. Since he told me that the first practice, I started doing that and things changed. I will continue to do it because it's working in my favor. And well, I couldn't agree more because there's a long season ahead to keep improving with their next test in Minneapolis to face Minnesota and Missouri February 8th and 9th.
And the swim team had a bit of fun this last weekend with their last meet coming with some out of the ordinary lineups. Courtesy of course from the coaching staff for the Rams, head coach Kelsey Woodard and crew threw some of their swimmers in events they had never done before. And even though there were some unexpected changes, the Rams still had some pretty eye-popping results. Winning all but one of 13 total events in the water, this one was dominated, while also providing something new for some swimmers. Now, the typical things happened, like Lexi Treatley winning her 50 free, and Erin Dawson coasting her way to a win in the 100 meter, and of course, a 1-2 finish in the 100 butterfly from Maisie Barbosa and Mavi Nahir. Coach Woodard saying that it was enjoyable to see her swimmers twist in the wind and deal with anxieties they may have. And it seems to have worked, so let's hope Coach Woodard and crew can keep the wins coming. But for now, that is all the recent CSU sporting recaps we have for you. Or maybe, I think we might have just maybe one more. While this one may have happened a while ago, it is still easily the most notable thing to happen to CSU football in the last 7 years. So without on the show, we have to cover in the show. I present to you a day in the life at the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl.
All right, Ram fans, it's a day in the life from Mike Walsh, the CTV Sports anchor. We started off with some shots of everyone that's going on this trip. It's Ella Fredrikson, the sports director, and Damon Cook, a collegiate sports writer. So obviously we're getting on the train. We're getting down to the stadium, getting down to the tailgates that CSU and Miami, Ohio have put on. Obviously, the flag staff is there for the Rams. The Horton fans are there. The Ram fans are there. The band is there. And, of course, the themed cars are there. The red for Miami, Ohio, and the green for CSU. And then it's time to get into the stadium. Obviously, you see the big sign there. Will call for all the media people. See Ella's media pass right here. And now we're going straight into it. We're seeing Snoop Dogg. We're getting down into the stadium. We're finally seeing some of the CSU players coming out to warm up. And they're feeling good. It's a nice day. It's nothing too cold, nothing too hot. Matt Greenwald, a former sports anchor for CTV, obviously shout out there. Then we just got more warming up. And this is the part when really the Rams are feeling good. There was a lot of hope in the air. First bowl game in a few years, but everyone's still feeling good. They're in uniform. The Rams are ready to play for the most part, and the energy is high as the Rams fans traveled so well. And to start off the game, we had this awesome moment with some guys parachuting in with some different flags for some different meanings. One for CSU, one for Miami, Ohio, and one for America, of course. And then we finally see the Rams get out and come ready to play. Now there's a full-length highlight of this game on the YouTube, but this is just a few short clips of the unfortunate result for the Rams. But it started out well. The Rams were on offense a few different times. He had this big throw to Jordan Ross. But unfortunately, after this first field goal right here, the Rams kind of fell apart. This Rams team had a lot of hope going into this, but this was their only 3 points in the first half. And while it seemed like this game may still be close at the half with a 9-3 score, the second half was just a complete different story. From a fan perspective, from an athlete perspective, from pretty much an everything perspective, Miami, Ohio just dominated that second half. An unfortunate result for the Rams, as you see here, an interception for BFN. Just not their best outing, but still, nonetheless, they got to go to a bowl game, and they still got to put on some kind of a show for the fans, and they had this awesome touchdown that the Rams threw to Stephen Daly for his first touchdown of his career and probably the biggest game he's played in ever. Just unfortunate that it had to come at the end of a terrible loss for the Rams. But you're seeing here just more and more highlights of kind of Miami, Ohio just beating down on the Rams. Here was the real stab in the back for the Rams. A 99-yard touchdown for Miami, Ohio's running back. Just there was hope from Ram fans, but going into that fourth quarter, it all felt lost. Obviously, there were still the garbage time plays for BFN and company. There's the nice touchdown. But just overall, this game just didn't have much going for the Rams. And in all honesty, the fans were gone. As you can see here in this video, the Rams get stopped, and that's the end. Everyone rushes the field, everyone's getting the hugs in. And for CTV, it was an awesome experience to get to go down there. Obviously an unfortunate result for Norvell and company, but they'll be back. This Rams team is young, and they still have a lot of players coming back and returning for another year. Although they are losing a few people, it's going to be tough to revisit this game.
I can honestly say I enjoyed my trip, but I can also say I did not enjoy that night after the game. I mean, it was just bad. I'm guessing you watched this one?
I did, comfortably from my home.
Right.
Had hope from the start, but
Yeah.
you know,
Everyone did, right?
yeah, just next year. Next year.
I think we can just keep saying that.
Just kidding.
But you know, one thing that is for certain, the Rams made a bowl
That
game.
they did, yes.
You can never take it away from them. It'll always be in the stats. You can never.
Never. And you know, I agree with you, Mike. I think that is enough about the old CSU sporting news, though. So let's take a quick break before we get a live update from our very own sports director, Ella Fredrikson, and a recap from championship weekend. So stick around.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. Just a few minutes ago, Colorado State tipped off in Moby Arena against the Air Force Falcons. Ella, how are they doing?
That's right, guys. Just a few minutes ago, the Air Force Falcons joined the Rams in Moby Arena, and now the game is at halftime, and we have a close one on our hands. CSU is only up 1 point on the Falcons, and you're not going to be surprised when I drop some of these names. Neat Clifford with 9 points on the first half, Jalen Lake, of course, holding his own with 10, and a few other bench players that are carrying the Rams as well. Now, when it comes to the stats that we've got going on in the standings, the Rams have jumped to that 3rd position due to a couple huge wins in the last 10 days or so. Now, those wins are against teams like Fresno State, Boise, as they were talking about earlier, but the Rams are not done yet because they have a couple of big matchups in the next 7 days or so that they're going to have to look out for. New Mexico is going to be one of those. Fortunately, we lost to them not too long ago, and we could see another loss there unless things change with this momentum. Another one to look out for, SDSU and the 4th ranking in the standings right now are going to be up against the Rams coming up soon as well. That is going to be another big game. Now, CSU with their overall record is clearly struggling with consistency outside of the conference, unlike teams like the Lobos sitting at 17-4 and Utah State sitting at 18-2 overall. Now, if the Rams can continue with that momentum in the conference, obviously that overall is only going to get better and better, and the standings within the Mountain West are going to improve as they take on those teams once again. But what I'm curious about, Hunter, AJ, where do you see the Rams ending the season in the Mountain West standings?
Yeah, I see the Rams finishing in 3rd. I think they're too inconsistent, and I think they can stay in 3rd, but they're New Mexico and Utah State are just clearly better teams. But I can also see them dropping just SDSU and all of them coming up. But just the Rams' inconsistency, and again, playing a close game against Air Force tonight, just not a good look for them.
I could see the Rams finishing in 2nd place right behind Utah State. I ultimately think the Rams can finish above New Mexico. I think they've shown that they can play on the same level as New Mexico. The program that Utah State has built, I just don't think will be good enough for the Rams to surpass this season, but I ultimately think the Rams will earn a bid to March Madness.
Thank you, Ella, for the live update.
This past weekend featured some familiar playoff faces, including Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, who faced off for the 4th time in the playoffs alone. Hunter, is Allen the one to blame, or is it his supporting cast that keeps failing him?
Yeah, I think you got to blame Allen. I mean, you have 3 minutes, 30 seconds to win the game. You're down a field goal, and he just can't get it done. So I think you can't sit here and blame the defense for allowing 30. I mean, you have the ball last. That's how normally these games go, is whoever has the ball last wins these games. So I think Allen is one to blame here.
For the Chiefs, it's their 17th consecutive one-score game that they have won. Is it time to accept that they just win these close games and there's nothing you can do about it?
Definitely. I mean, 17-0, I mean, everybody keeps saying, oh, they just win the close games, the refs and stuff like that, but 17 in a row is just ridiculous. I mean, they're obviously a good football team. They know how to play these close games, and the Super Bowl coming up, I just think it's going to be another close one, and these Chiefs just seem to pull it out every time.
It's undeniable that they know how to win. So where do the Bills go from here? Do they keep going back to Sean McDermott year after year and keep losing to the Chiefs, or should they try and go a different path?
No, I think you keep the same staff. I think this was their best chance to win against the Chiefs. I mean, you have the ball last, like I said. I just think you stick with the same guys, and you just got to keep grinding at it. And I think one day they'll get over the hump, but man, you just got to keep the same guys because it's obviously working, but you're just one game away, one drive away, honestly. The AFC Championship game this weekend features some new faces with Jaden Daniels, a rookie quarterback from the Commanders, and veteran quarterback Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. AJ, should the Commanders be feeling down about this season, or should they be happy because they were a 5-win team just last year?
I ultimately think what they've came back from last season is by itself enough to be proud of. First rookie quarterback ever to make the conference championship game. I think that is a huge accomplishment.
100%.
I think it's something they should be proud of and build off of for next year.
Yeah. This will be the Eagles' second trip to the Super Bowl in the last 3 years. They will face the Kansas City Chiefs again, who they faced 2 years ago. AJ, the Commanders need to do something to probably win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. With Jaden Daniels gone, what do you think those moves they should be made?
I think they need to address the defense, first of all. Obviously, the 55 points they gave up to the Eagles was not ideal. So I think they need to address the defense and then start giving Jaden Daniels some weapons and ultimately go from there.
Yeah, definitely, because, I mean, you got the man on a rookie contract. We see it with Brock Purdy now. He's about to get paid, so I think the Commanders got to make some serious moves. Don't go anywhere just yet, Rams. When we come back from the break, Leah and Mike join us again for some of our top 2025 draft picks. Well, we'll be right back.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. And now that the Super Bowl has been decided, that unfortunately means football season is coming to a close. After Bowl 59, the 2025 draft at Lambeau Field will be happening, and all of us have our top 3 draft prospects and one name we think more people should be paying attention to. I'll start us off, go with my top 3 in this draft. I don't really think this number 1 pick is a debate, although it seems to be among people. I think it's going to be Cam Ward. I think he's the best quarterback in this draft. I think Abdul Carter is the best defensive player in this draft. And it's Travis Hunter. He's the Heisman. I'm not sure how you don't pick him in the top 3, somewhere in the top 3. I wouldn't be surprised if any of you had anywhere in the top 3. But if you have him outside of the top 3, that's where the problem comes in.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I think these are by far the 3 best players in the draft, and then I think it's a pretty wide margin to anyone else. But I think that's my order. I'm going Cam Ward, then I'm going Carter, and then I'm going Hunter.
All right. I like it.
And my sleeper pick is one I don't think you guys will know, but To me, he's the second best receiver in the last year's class. He was the Missouri wide receiver. His name is Luther Burden.
Okay.
And he played with Brady Cook. I mean, he was an animal in 2023. Had a little bit of an off year this year with injuries. But pure catching and pure yards after the catch, he's probably the best receiver in college right now, outside of guys like Jeremiah Smith. So I think he's a sleeper. He's projected 23rd pick right now. Anyone that gets him after 15, I think, is a steal. So.
Do you think he's going to be top 10, or do you think he's going to be in that 15,
in my
20
opinion,
range?
he should be top 15, but I think he'll drop to 23rd range.
Okay.
But yeah.
Packers could use a guy like that.
Yeah.
Packers could use him too. I mean.
So could the Giants.
All right.
And so good the Giants. Yep.
Let's go to you, Hunter.
Yeah, so I'm going to go a different route here. I'm going to go Shador. I think Shador is the best quarterback in this draft.
Oh, my.
Cam Ward, I mean, the dude is just... Watching him play is just so hard to watch. I mean, it's like he's jogging out there.
We're talking about Shador here.
I mean, Cam Ward is like jogging. He seems to not care about... I mean, the dude sat out of the bowl game after breaking the passing yards, or the passing touchdowns. But next, I'm going to go Travis Hunter to the Browns. I don't think... you can't pass on a guy like Travis Hunter. Even though and then I'm going to go with defensive guy, Abdul Carter as well. I think he goes to the Giants, man. I just don't think the Giants are going to take a quarterback in this draft.
Can you just tell me your reasonings for why you think Shador is better than Cam Ward? Football-wise, not because Cam Ward looks lazy back there, I guess.
I mean,
nonchalant.
You look at the stats. I mean, he's right there with Cam Ward. I mean, they play better teams on the ACC.
They play better teams?
Yes.
Okay.
The Big 12, I think, is way better than the ACC, especially this year.
The one thing I'll say about Shador, there is nobody better to get adjusted into the NFL than him. I mean, with his dad and with the experience he's grown up with it, I think the transition is going to be simpler than most, but do I think he's the #1 pick? I don't think so.
For me, I just think Shador doesn't win the big games. He wins the regular season games, but the one game they had that could get him into college football playoff consideration, they lost. They got destroyed by Kansas.
Yeah.
He can't win big games. Cam Ward won a big game at the end of the year.
Yeah, but you're talking about a Kansas team that was hot at the time. I mean, everybody was losing to them.
Goodness.
I mean,
just watch the tape. I don't know how you think Shador.
All right, AJ, let's hear it.
Yeah. Let's go somewhere else.
My top three, obviously, I've got Travis Hunter at the top. I think this is a no-doubter.
Yep.
The Heisman, I think that's just no doubt. I think that's something that shouldn't be controversial. Second overall, second and third, I do have Shador above Cam Ward.
Wow.
Only because I want the Giants
Is this just
to
the
get
analysts?
Cam Ward.
Are you listening to the analysts, or are you guys making this on your own?
It's only because
Everyone's
the
saying
Giants.
he's a second rounder, you guys. I don't know. I don't know, guys.
I feel strongly that Shador Sanders will not be good in the NFL.
No.
And we can take a clip of that, and you can show it to me in a few years. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Quote Mike Walsh right here.
I do not think he's going to be a good quarterback. He's going to be an average level 1 at best. But that's just me.
Speaking of Cam Ward, my sleeper pick is going to be the quarterback out of Syracuse, Kyle McCord.
Oh, man.
He had an incredible season for the Orange, and come on, you can't deny.
Can you tell me where you think he's going to be taken? That's the steal.
I think second round or third round, anywhere in there would be an absolute steal.
Okay.
I think you're getting an NFL level quarterback in him in the second or third round, and I consider that a steal.
I'm going to use the same argument as Shador, winning the big games. He can't do it.
He won 9 games.
But the big games that matter for you to try to have a chance at the playoff or try to have a chance for your... I mean, all they did was win a game to basically put Clemson in the ACC championship. Their season just didn't matter much, and that's why you don't play big games. I saw him at Ohio State. I can't trust Kyle McCord. I can't do it.
He was a different player this year.
But he had the stats at Ohio State. He just couldn't beat Michigan, couldn't win the big games. I think same thing with Shador, but...
You know, I think
Rest
I
my
might have
case.
got a little heated with your Shador comments, so remind me of your sleeper pick.
Yes.
I wanted to move on.
No, you're up. So my sleeper is obviously, I think this guy's the third best quarterback in the draft is Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
The guy did have a down year this year, only threw for about 2,800 yards, but did have 28 total touchdowns.
Still.
Oh, yeah. So I think he's still the third best quarterback. I think if you could get him in the third round, second round, I think he's definitely a steal for any team.
That loss to Michigan at the end of the year. That killed his draft.
They didn't care. They're not in the college football playoff.
The bowl games don't really matter that much. Milroe definitely dropped. His stock dropped after this year, I think, for sure. But
I like that a lot more than what you said about Shador. I think that's a really good sleeper pick. I think that's a great sleeper pick. For me, I mean, I'm kind of in the same range
Same
with
boat,
you all,
yeah.
except for Shador. I'm going to go Abdul going number 1 to the
Wow,
Titans. I think Hunter's going to the Browns. I think it's like
Okay.
we said, not a question that he's not even top 3. I think it's just a no-brainer for me. And AJ, the Giants are going to get Cam Ward, and I'm so excited.
they are.
We need a QB. Danny Dimes, it was not the right guy for us, and that's okay. But you know what? I think Cam Ward is going to be a great addition there. I just have a feeling that he's going to go number 3. And my sleeper is none other than Boise State Bronco Ashton Genty, not Genty, as I thought it was all season. I mean, unbelievable season. Even hearing Snoop Dogg talk about the analysis in the CSU game, I remember he was giving his picks about the college playoffs, and he was talking about him. He has been around in a name all season long, and I think he's going to go a lot higher than
He's
people expect.
undeniable. He's getting 200 yards a game. I mean, you just can't deny this guy. He's going to be He's going to be a great pick for any team that gets him. But if he's a sleeper pick, if he's dropping to 20, 30, 40, that's an insane value pick for any team.
I mean, he was right up there for the Heisman with Travis Hunter.
Yeah. And I mean, many people think he probably should have won it. I don't know.
I
Probably
know.
should. It's close to it.
Yeah, Mountain West, we love him out here, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He's
put Boise
definitely
on the
sleeper
map
pick.
by himself.
Oh, yeah.
I hope that we all can see the people that we picked up there. It would be cool to see them in at least a top 3-5 picks.
These guys we have, basically 4 guys total, I think we'll all be in the top 10.
I think so,
least.
too.
That's for sure guaranteed. I can see some combines maybe dropping some guys' stocks, but I think most of these guys are a lock for top 10, if not top 5.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? That is all that we've got for you tonight, Ram fans. So stay safe this weekend, and we'll see you next week.